Hello everyone, my name is Sao Khuê and welcome to GenZ Talk, a podcast series of the English Lab. Studying overseas has been a mega trend for students, especially Gen Zers. That's because they have the urge to gain greater understandings of different culture. Today, GenZ Talk is honored to have a special guest, Sao Khuê, a former staff of the English Lab who scored 7.5 on her IELTS test and is currently studying in Vancouver, Canada. Please introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Khuê, but I'm the other Khuê. I'm Sao Khuê and I'm 20 years old, and I'm so excited to be back with the English Lab and joining the episode for GenZ podcast today.
Okay, so speaking about the English Lab, could you name a few of the unforgettable memories you had with the staffs and the teachers?
Yes, I had a lot of memories with the English Lab, and to actually name all of the memories I had with, it takes like hours and days to like talk about it. So I'm just gonna pick out those moments that I feel like is like the most memorable to me. Let's start when I was a student of the English Lab. I remember like Miss V and Miss Chan, they were my two main teachers, and they were so strict as well as caring for me. And during the whole preparation process for the IELTS exam, they just give me a lot of useful lessons, useful tips, and even when I took the test, like I remember right after the official IELTS exam, like it ended at 12, I guess, but right at 12:05 p.m. Miss V just called me right away, and she'd be like, how was it? Like, I can feel how much she cared for me as well as how much she cared for my IELTS exam. I can feel it through her voice, and Miss Chan was like sitting right next to Miss V. Yes. And then they even when I received my IELTS official score, they called me right away, and they were like, "Oh my God, congratulations!" And I even cried to them. It was like actually tears of happiness. And they did actually take me out to this restaurant called Goki to actually celebrate for my score, which is like a very this is something that normally teachers don't do, I guess. But Miss V and Miss Chan makes me feel as if I'm a part of their family, kind of like that. And also when I became like a staff of the English Lab, I had great moments working with a lot of people, and we even had a lot of vacations for staffs, and I had amazing moments with all the members in the English Lab community.
Yeah, wow, that's so lovely.
Yes.
Let's get back to our main topic, which is studying overseas. I've heard that you are currently enrolling in Emily Carr, and your major is film screen art. So could you tell me a bit more about your major and what have made you to follow this career path?
To be honest, art has always been my thing. I love art, and ever since a kid, I love art, and I know that art, like for example, drawing and painting or like handicrafts, those are like my therapeutic section. And I used to believe that I would become a doctor, or at least do something related to the medical field, like my father or my uncles in the family. But I for sure know that I'm not like a friend of math or physics or science related subjects. They are my enemy. And I realized that if it's not art as my career, then I could not do anything else. So I just give art a try. That's why I applied for Emily Carr, became a student, and then after a year learning, training, and trying different arts mediums, I realized that I love film, screen art, so I chose it as my major.
Wow, okay. So you've talked to me before that you had quite a part of time learning IELTS with Miss V and Miss Chan.
Yes.
So was IELTS a part of your plan to apply for university? Was it necessary for it? And did you took the IELTS test for any other reasons?
To like stick to the main point, yes, I took the IELTS test to apply for universities because universities oversee English proficiency tests are like a must-have requirements. So I had to take the IELTS test to fully complete whatever they asked me to apply to them. But also, I am fully aware of the time and the effort that I spent for studying IELTS, as well as the effort of Miss V and Miss Chan, and I really want to know how far I reached to. Therefore, I decided to take the IELTS test.
Okay, so probably in the period of time where you have to prepare for your, applications, you have gone through a lot of hazardous challenges. So could you name one, like the worst one in your blacklist, and how did you get through it?
To be honest, I'm not a patient person, and I hate reading things. Like I am like a enemy of reading. I'm not a fan of reading.
Me too.
Therefore, when it comes to preparing all the paperwork and documents for university applications as well as visa application, it takes a lot of time, and I am not that patient to actually read through all of it. So yeah, I feel like I even have a post-traumatic stress disorder after the documents and the paperwork preparation. But luckily, I have my mom who helps me along the way. So she makes everything seems easier for me. Yeah.
So now that you've in Vancouver and you have achieved your dream school, have you ever looked back your expectations before going to Vancouver?
I have got to say, because like studying abroad has always been my dream.
Yes.
So before actually moving to Vancouver, I had like really high hopes on anything. Like I dreamt of making a lot of interesting friends, and I dreamt of the beautiful place that I'm gonna be staying at.
Yeah.
And I even dreamt of like I had a visions about how my education would be in Emily Carr.
Yeah.
Like everything was amazing. I even thought of making a TikTok channel vlogging about my life in Vancouver, but I did not. That was my expectations before moving to Vancouver.
With all the expectations that you had for, going and study overseas, what impressed you the most?
I would say the most impressive thing that I'm lucky to experience is the diversity of culture in Vancouver. Because Vancouver or Canada in general is like a place where a lot of people from different parts of the world travel to, settle down, and work. Therefore, when working, when studying, making friends, and interacting with the people there, I got the chance to discover the cultures from the country they come from. Even some countries that I rarely heard of. And yeah, it's really amazing to actually understand their mindset based on the culture they come from.
Okay, so I've never been to Vancouver before. I want to, and I'm really curious, how's your life? Like, what's the differences between your life in Vietnam and in Vancouver?
To name like the differences between Vietnam and Vancouver, it would be like long list. But I'm telling you, the most common difference between Vietnam and Vancouver is obviously the traffic situation in both countries. Because in Vietnam, we can always see motorbikes and cars and different kinds of trucks and lorries. But in Vancouver, it's just about cars and public transport stations, for example, buses and sky trains. So that's the two big differences. And how's my lifestyle affected by the difference between both countries? I have to say, in Vietnam, if I want to go anywhere, I would be more independent because I have my own bike and I would just travel to wherever I want to go to. But in Vancouver, I have to like calculate the time traveling from this place to that place by bus or SkyTrain or just like a lot of more calculations. So it takes more time to travel to the place I want to go to.
Yeah.
But the good thing is I saved the environment a little bit because I use the public transport.
Okay, yeah, I can relate to that. So there are things that impressed you and give like good impressions on you.
Yeah.
Then on the opposite side, what disappointed you? And did you felt like you had your expectations and your hopes too high?
From my perspective, from the experiences I had, I have to say that there's nothing bad, terrible, or negative to disappoint me about. It was just like during my gap year, the whole pandemic, I was too dreamy and I put my expectations too high.
Yeah, I understand.
To the level where when in reality, when things happen, when people supposed to react that way, when things supposed to turn out that way, in a normal level, I kind of feel disappointed.
Yeah.
It was just about me having my own expectation too high.
Yeah.
So when it comes to the real thing, I became disappointed.
Yeah.
There's nothing to be said about it. It was just me and my thoughts.
Oh, okay, yeah, like pink-coded life.
Yeah. I thought that I was living in Barbie world.
Oh, yeah.
Not really.
So, definitely you have faced some difficulties. What did your family help to get you through that part? And what did you personally do for yourself?
Like, my family has always been the source of support mentally in my life. So whenever dealing with strugglings or hardships, I would like video call them and tell them the whole problem and ask them the advice and feedbacks. And it's really nice having like mom and dads and grandparents to talk to me and telling me what to do, because they tell me what I need to hear, what I need to know, instead of tell me what I want to hear. For example, I make a mistake, and then I denied that I caused that mistake. But when I tell them the whole story, they be like, "You were wrong, so you have to fix it." Instead of telling me it's okay, things will be fine. They tell me what to do, like in the most direct way, so I would know how to solve a problem. Yeah, it would be like that.
Okay, so...
Oh, and about like how did I overcome myself through the hardships?
Yes.
I would hang out with my friends in Vancouver, but I would also gossip to my Vietnamese friends because we love to gossip. And of course, I watch a lot of TV shows, especially Friends sitcom.
Oh yeah, I love that one too.
Yeah, that show's good.
Yeah, that show's good. So I've talked in the previous episode, which you have already watched, I talked about peer pressure, especially in Generation Z. So now, as a part of the Generation Z, as a Gen Zer, did you ever felt peer pressured from other people? And well, like maybe feeling insecure perhaps, or self-doubting your own worth?
I mean, yes, because peer pressure has always been existed from generations and generations in Vietnam, of course. I'm not so sure about the other countries, but I can tell that it obviously happened in Vietnam for real. And one of the most common thing about peer pressure is when you being compared by your parents to the other kids in the neighborhood. Obviously, that is like one of the first cases of peer pressure that personally I or anybody that I know have faced to. And so peer pressure, it has always been there, but it seems invisible to the adults. But luckily, our Gen Z generations, we're kind of like very self-aware of the mental issues, and we're really connected to our inner self and our inner child. So we know how to protect ourselves, and we bring peer pressure, which is invisible, to the light, make it visible, and try to avoid it, right? So if you guys ask me about have I been through peer pressure, I have to say yes, because I was being compared to other people, you know, by the adults. And even when I worked in the art field, you know, there's a lot of pressure there too, because a lot of people my age or even younger, they have a whole list of work and portfolios and everything, while I have like, I don't know, 5 or 6 of them. So there's a lot of pressure, but it's okay, because I know that people have different starting points and different life journey. So it's my life that I'm living in it, then I'm just gonna trust my process and trust myself. And if people can do it, then I'll be like, yeah, I'm happy for you. And if you can do it, I can do it too. So there's nothing to be pressured about. Just have to trust in myself.
Yeah. So with all the peer pressure and with all the hardships you've gone through, and also experiencing new cultures and diversity in Vancouver, Canada, do you have any new mindsets or lifestyles that you have adapted to? And can you share us a few?
Well, like, yes, I do. Because after all the things that I've gone through, as well as like different experiences, one thing that I learned to myself is that whatever happens, happens. And anything happens for a reason. So whatever comes to me, it has always been calculated, always been there. It meant for me to actually learn a lesson from it, and apply the lessons that I learned to different situations to improve myself, right? So I just have to stay strong and be confident and trust in myself to deal with whatever that comes in the way. Yeah.
So I think that a lot of our beloved viewers who are watching GenZ Talk is probably dreaming of studying overseas.
Yeah.
Could you give them a few tips, perhaps?
My tip is it's not just a dream, it's a target. So make the dreams come true, as well as please stay healthy, mentally and physically, because no matter where you go, in Vietnam or outside Vietnam, it's still like a lot of changes, and it's gonna be like a change of weather, change of environment, change of the culture, the lifestyle, the cuisine. So please stay healthy so you can go through all the changes, and after done, you'll be fine.
Okay, well, I hope you all enjoyed this episode of GenZ Talk as much as all of us. So yeah, thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Bye bye.